this is Coach Jason Kuhn. He was my wrestling coach in middle school and in high school, and he has been willing enough to do this interview with me. So, let's just get things started. What made you want to start coaching?
It's a good question, Cheyenne, and I'm glad you asked it. I started coaching around 2004, and I really didn't want to coach. I just loved the sport of wrestling, and my buddy I grew up with, we wrestled together in high school. He was going up to a local high school and wrestling with the kids up there, helping them out. And he's like, hey, you should go with me. And I'm like, nah, okay. So I started going up there with him right before I started college. And just went up there when I could on my days off and when I got off work. And I just loved it. I've always loved the sport of wrestling and helping kids out. It meant a lot to me. And I had a friend of mine, two close friends of mine, wrestling at another local high school, and when Christmas vacation came around, I couldn't wrestle at the original high school. I started going up there and wrestling with them because they needed a lot of help. They needed a hell of a bunch more help than the school I was at. So I wound up staying there, and the kids there just took to me, and it was a great experience, and I fell in love with it.
Good. How many years did you wrestle before you started coaching it?
I wrestled 2 years in high school, my junior and senior year, a long time before I started coaching it. But I'd always, got around here and there with some friends of mine, and then finally got accepted as a coach and just ran with it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, cool. What kind of goals would you set for your teams, whether it was in practice or in a match? What kind of goals did you want them to meet or make for themselves?
Biggest thing I would, because wrestling's a team and an individual sport, and each person has their own set of skills or set of improvements that they could work on. So my biggest thing, I guess my biggest all-around goal was for everybody to get better. Okay. Everybody to find a weakness, work on that weakness, and be a better wrestler, a better person, and a better student athlete because of it.
I gotcha. Yeah, that was one of my weaknesses was turtling, as you would call it, whenever I was in the referee position, and you would help me overcome that. What would you do in a situation where a student had a hard time or a wrestler had a hard time overcoming their weakness? How would you help them out?
I would, me personally, I'm a hands-on coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stand off on the sideline and say, do this, or it looks good. I get in there and I mix it up with the kids. And so if you were having like a much harder time with a movement or with a specific thing we were doing, I would personally spend time with you and focus on that weakness with you and do everything we can to improve upon that.
Gotcha. Well, good. Another tough question that we debate about in our class a lot. Would you use exercise as a punishment? Why or why not?
I would absolutely use exercise as a punishment because I think it's a great tool because especially the kids I coach wrestling, they didn't like to do much exercise.
Oh yeah, not at all.
They just wanted to get in there and,
goof off and
roll around with each other and sweat and, breathe on each other. They didn't want to do much work. They wanted all the glory, but none of the work that came with it. And I think exercise as a punishment, I think it's a good tool because one, they're getting a benefit out of it, whether they realize it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's fun to watch people suffer and whine and
especially high school boys, they whine a lot.
Oh yeah, and then when you're sitting there and you're putting them through we called it when I coached wrestling, when I was in high school, we called them bloods, and we just called them drills when I was coaching with you and stuff. And, but we'd always spend sessions where it wasn't really punishment, but it was. But my philosophy on coaching or anything in life is if you can't breathe, it doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you can't breathe, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing was my wrestlers were not gonna get outworked. That's what I did. I did not want them to get outworked. I didn't want them to face someone that was in better shape than them. So absolutely using exercise as a punishment helped me work towards that goal.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was better. I was always more conditioned than the other wrestler. might not have been stronger than them, but hardly ever got pinned, hardly ever got outworked. But usually it came down to it. They were just a lot stronger than me, but I never ever. They were never ever to outwork me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to your coaching, in what areas did you feel like you could have done better in?
For me personally, I was never a head coach on paper. I was a head coach in practice. So just scheduling, I think, would have been better if I could have done and had a little more say on scheduling, because you want to practice how you play, and if we practice hard, I want to wrestle hard against teams that I want to go up against teams that on paper should destroy us, so that we can see what we're made of and see what we got to do to get to where we want to be. I think one of my weaknesses as a coach is like I said earlier, I'm a hands-on type of coach, and if someone's having a problem, I try to work with them specifically, and that might take away from other kids if I spend too much time with that one person. So if I could just step back and maybe rely on other people to help me more, I think I would have done better as a coach. And then, of course, working full-time, going to school full-time, and coaching, I didn't always have as much time as I would have liked with the kids I coached.
Gotcha. And what areas did you feel like you excelled in?
Same thing, working hands-on with kids, because the way I saw it was, if a coach gives you a workout and you're like, man, this is too hard, coach. Well, if I'm doing that workout with you, and I'm over there battling through it, you can't look at me and say, coach, this is too hard, because I'm twice your age, and I'm doing the work that you're whining about. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I remember several wrestling practice. We would do what were they called? They were called like focus sprints.
Yeah.
And we'd, for people who don't know what focus sprints are, we had to run from one end to the wrestling room to the other and spell out focus. And more than half of us couldn't do it, but Coach Kuhn outran every single one of us and made us all look terrible. So we had absolutely no excuse of why we couldn't do it. How did you accommodate wrestlers or my teammates that had lower skills versus higher skills, especially in the same weight brackets?
What I try to do is of course you want wrestlers to wrestle within the same weight class in practice, because you don't want them to get hurt for one. But what I try to do is I put higher skill with lower skill kids, and then I utilize the coaches I had, which weren't too many at our school, but
all two of them.
Watch out now. But so I would utilize the higher skilled wrestlers to work with the lower skilled wrestlers, and then facilitate that instruction by going around and putting in my 2 cents where it was necessary.
So you use more of the wrestlers with the higher skills as kind of a standing coach at that moment?
Yes.
I remember with Coach Leonard, he did that a lot. He would always pull the middle weight, so like 120 to 145 or 150, to help all the lower weights and all the weights in between. And he did a real good job, or y'all did a real good job of using us to help y'all, because like you said, there was a lot of us, but really only 2 of y'all that actually cared about the team. Going to discipline, how would you discipline your team other than exercise as punishment? But how would you discipline them if they had like bad grades, poor behavior, or unsportsmanlike conduct? Because that's very common in wrestling.
Unsportsmanlike, I'm not a very big fan of people being disrespectful. So unsportsmanlike, of course, I use exercise sprints. We always used to run the way the gym set up at Chapel Hill, the stairs, the flat stairs. I love doing those. Miracle miles, those were good stuff too. But outside of exercise as punishment, make them sit, make them, not come to practice, or maybe during practice focus on, basically sit off to the side, watch the practice. And if it's academic thing, have them studying. before and after practice. During practice, it's kind of hard to study because it's a lot of
Can you
distractions.
explain what a miracle mile is for
Sure can.
Dr.
So,
Dorn?
A miracle mile, if you go out onto any stadium, like Chapel Hill, you got a track, and then you've got a set of bleachers here, and you got a set of bleachers here. Home side, visitor side. Winning side, losing side. So, and what you do is you run a lap on the track, and every time you come to the bleachers, you go on the bleachers and you run every set of little steps where the little handrails are. You go up one side of the handrail, come down the other side of the handrail, run to the next set of little steps, run up the handrail, down the handrail, and you do that. You come back on the track, and you go around to the other set of bleachers, and you go up. You do the same thing on the other set of bleachers, up and down each handrail, and it just makes. If you get someone to run an 8 or 10 minute mile, they're going to be there for 30, 40 minutes. It's wonderful.
My favorite thing during wrestling practice, whenever we didn't do good in a tournament or whenever just overall we had poor attitudes or anything like that, we'd have to run a miracle mile in, I think it was like 25 minutes, and only one person could do it, and that was Coach Kuhn. So we always had to run a second one, which was always so great. But we were always the best in shape. Define competition. Like, in your words, what would you feel competition is best represented in?
I look at competition as an opportunity to get better. I do a lot of CrossFit now, and every workout you're competing against somebody. And that somebody is pushing you to be a better version of yourself because they are your competition. You don't want to get beat. You don't want to get humiliated. You want to be the best version of yourself. Whether you win or lose, you want to know that you want to walk away knowing that you gave it everything you had. And I see competition as an opportunity to see where you're at, what you need to work on, and to just an opportunity to push yourself.
Who do you think is the greater competition, your opponent that's across from you in a wrestling match or yourself?
9 times out of 10, I say it's yourself. A lot of the kids I coach might have been strong physically, but weren't very strong mentally. I had one kid even tell me, look at him, like, Coach, he's got a tattoo. What am I going to do? I looked at him, and I was puzzled. I was like, are you freaking serious? I said, you're going to wrestle the same as you always do. And of course, he went out there and lost. And he didn't stand a chance because he had already beat himself before he ever stepped on the mat.
Because the guy had a tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. A tattoo don't mean jack.
Yeah.
So I just, I think the biggest competition is mentally for most people in most sports. So.
Almost there. 2 more questions. Do you view the other team or the other person across from you as an enemy or as an equal on the mat?
I wouldn't. As far as I'm big on respect, and the other team, the competition, I always show them respect, but also see them as my competition. I see them as both. So I would say I see them as my enemy, but I also see them as an equal as far as respect's concerned, because they work. I mean, it's a tough sport. Wrestling's a tough sport, and anyone who participates in it and puts the work in and puts the heart into it, they deserve respect. And so I show them respect off the mat, but on the mat, it's a different story. They're my enemy on the mat, and I'm going to do anything and everything I can within the rules to defeat that person.
Gotcha. All right, so last question. I think it'll be one of the best ones. What is your favorite memory coaching?
My favorite memory, and probably the reason why I kept coming back, and I don't even know if you know this story, but my very first year coaching, I just showed up at practices. I wrestled with the kids. I had no authority in there. Wasn't really a coach on paper. Just
a community coach,
yeah.
basically.
And I was working. It was the night of the banquet, and I was working at Sears, and I didn't get off till like 9 o'clock. And The banquet was at the school, and I kept getting phone calls and text messages from a good bit of the wrestlers asking where I was. I was like, I'm coming, guys, I'm coming, I'm getting out of here. And I left work and I went straight to the school for the banquet. And when I walked in that lunchroom, everybody stood on their feet, screaming and applauding. I thought, damn, I made a difference in these guys' lives.
Oh yeah. You are definitely one of my favorite coaches, and which is why I chose you for the interview. And you definitely made a difference in my life and all my teammates' life, because when you weren't there, it showed a difference on the mat and in practice. But thank you for this interview, Coach, and that's it.